Good afternoon, you spunky bastards. It is Thursday. Finally done with a week of school and appointments and counsellors and blah. So yeah, looking forward to a long weekend with the is it Labor Day? Probably Labor Day. I don't know. Was it Memorial Day? No, that's way off. Memorial Day is like November or something. I don't know. Oh man, I can't keep track of everything I've got to do, and everyone I've got to see, and all the good stuff. No, the counsellor appointment I had today. We looked at my schedule and how many units I've taken, and they were like, yeah, 15.5 units is well over what we've established in the class that I'm in the past that I'm capable of. So she's advised that I drop a class. On the plus side, the construction I'm doing for the play Antigone is, I was going to take the theatre production, the technical theatre production class that got cancelled. So I had to take, I didn't have to take, but I decided to take the drama class instead, right? So I was like, well, going to learn some drama anyway, might as well. And introduction to theatre would also cover the sort of, we're going to look at like not just acting, but like script writing and technical design, lighting, to the final kind of like final night, was it opening night kind of thing. So it's like we in that class is kind of like an all-inclusive, but I was really mainly wanting to focus on the technical design. But then Mike, the teacher of the technical design class, came in and said, "Look, we're still going to put on Antigone at the end of the semester, and we need people to help out making it. I need your help." And I was like, oh, shit, yeah, that's the class that I wanted to take in the first place. So I ended up hanging out with Mike after class. We're gonna like make the stage and the platforms and all the cool stuff. And it's I'm gonna end up getting to do what I wanted to do in the first place, except for it's not on my transcript as has me having taken the technical production class. But there is a way for me to get it on my transcript so that I can receive the credits for that, even though I didn't get to take the class, because I'm doing it as a sort of, I think they said it was an elective. Like I've elected to take this class outside of my normal thing. It's like a work study thing, so I can get credits for what I'm basically doing, hanging out with Mike and building stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to get credits for actually doing that, as opposed to just sort of the experience of it, which is pretty fucking good. I'm glad this was suggested to me, but I've decided to drop the early childhood education class because there is a lot of reading involved in that, and all the pop quizzes and midterms and finals. It's a lot of like reading it and having to retain that information so that when and if that subject comes up on the test, you know it, and you can answer it. And that's what I struggle with. It's like, I can go through a chapter like 5 times and not remember any of what I read, and stuff that I'm like, well, I'm going to highlight that because that sounds pretty important, and it will never come up, and I'll be like, well, what's this question then? Because I don't remember even reading that bit, So it's like I always struggle with those kind of tests. It's like parts of a good example of stuff from Wicked. Went to see Wicked last night in the, theatre, and I I guess it's one of those things that if you see it twice, it's the first time through, there's already spoilers anyway. The green one dies in the end, right? So it's like, oh dear. So you know how it's going to end, but the plot of it had already been spoiled for me anyway. So then I was just looking at sort of like the technical production aspect, like how the stage was morphing from one scene to a next in like the middle of dance sequences, and everyone was dancing around the parts that were changing, and very very well done, very technical, mechanical puppets and all that jazz. But I found myself watching and trying to figure out how the different parts of the stage worked, like what was controlling them, what was moving them, and it took me outside of that if you want to enjoy a play, enjoy it for the first time dry, right? Don't go in with no expectations or nothing. It's like if you already know a Marvel comic inside out, and then you go and see the Amazing Spider-Man or whatever, and you're like, what? That's bullshit. No, Peter Parker doesn't have that. No, it's like you find yourself analyzing. That's it. It's too much analyzing, and then you find yourself not enjoying the play or the movie or whatever, because it's like if you're in 3D production compositing and stuff, and you're looking at like, oh, that's green screen, oh that's 3D animated, that's and you're able to like see all the little working parts, and it kind of breaks the illusion. You just want to enjoy it for what it is. It's a really good play, and going in with like all this meta knowledge. It's like knowledge outside of the illusion. Like if you're a ventriloquist or you're a magician, you're like, oh, that's just a mirror trick. I know that trick. It's like you kind of broke the illusion. And I wish I'd just seen it and then gone back to see, okay, now I'm looking at it, how did that work? How does the bridge work? How does this work? How does the dragon function? There's a dragon, right? So really weird stuff. But I found myself looking at the working parts of the play rather than the acting parts of the play. And maybe that's what I'm more focused on. But that's not the reason why you go to see a play. You go to see a play to see the actors. And if you want to go back and like examine the sound and the lighting and stuff, do that later. But I just couldn't switch that part off, I guess. So yeah, going back to what I was saying. So I'm gonna, if there was a test on stuff about the play, I'm gonna, the bridge functioned like this, and the dragon functioned like that, and the wizard's head bobbing up and down was like pulleys, and and I'm going to remember all that stuff, and the test to be on like, what did you notice about the characters, what did you notice about the costumes, and I'm like, I wasn't focused on that, I'm not going to remember that. So if there's a test on what did you remember about the play, the actual like actors and stuff, the only thing I can really say is the cast was a lot smaller than I thought it was. It was like, there were like hundreds of people coming out on stage, right? It's like they must have done some weird quick costume changes back there, because I thought there was like 200 people backstage, and they all came out and took their bows, and there was like 18 people total. I'm like, what? Just 18 people? Where are the rest of them? There was tons of people out here earlier, or it just looked like it because they were like lots of people were doubled up as actors. I don't know, right? But that's the only real thing that I could tell you about the physical production. I could tell you a lot about how the stage worked, but that might not be what the test would be about. So I don't know. I find myself focusing on things that are maybe not important to the task at hand. So I'm going to read through the ECE book and go, yep, okay, I remember most of it. And then there's a pop quiz, and it's like, yeah, what was this on page 32? And I'm like, I don't even remember reading that bit. So yeah, I don't do too good with those type of tests. So anyway, I've dropped ECE now, and I'm gonna just focus all the rest of my time and energy on getting the math stuff, because the math is going to be the hardest part, and then reading all the plays that we've got to read through. That's going to be a huge time sink, and then whatever I need to do for the digital arts and stuff, as well as the theatre arts. So there's a lot of creativity time sinks, and a lot of sort of memory time sinks. Like I've got to memorize play stuff, as well as stuff for Doodle, stuff for the math. So one's numbers and one's words. So maybe I can divide my brain up and say, right, you go over there, you go over there. Hopefully I don't walk into my math test and say, what's the square root of 5,000, to be or not to be? Wait, that's not the question. Oh boy. Anyway, on that note, I will speak to you spunky bastards later. 11 and a half minutes. I've talked your ears off. I am sorry. But thank you for listening. And I will see you after the long weekend, or if I manage to vlog sometime at the weekend, if I get a free moment, I'll come and speak to you then. Please have a lovely weekend. I love you, spunky bastards. Take care. Stay creative. Peace.